Welcome to Reddit After Hours. This is r/Am I the Butthole, where OP's parents expect him to take care of an affair baby that his own brother put in his girlfriend. Our first Reddit post comes from Life Championship 540, titled, "Am I the butthole for forcing my husband to choose between me and his mother?" My fiance and I are set to get married in July of this year. We met through a mutual friend earlier years ago, and our relationship progressed slowly. He's literally the perfect guy, but the problem is his mother, Katie. Katie has been critical of me from day one. She often tells me that my husband could do better and that I'm just an uneducated slum. I could usually disregard her, but when he proposed, she went to a whole new level. The main incident occurred when we were set to visit her a few days ago to announce our engagement. My future husband excitedly showed her the ring, but she just grimaced. She looked at him and, I repeat, said, "Are you really going to marry that R-word gold digger?" My husband laughed nervously and we left quickly after. A little context, I have high-functioning autism. It doesn't affect me too much on a daily basis, but I do have trouble interpreting emotion. After we got home, I sobbed and I asked my husband to tell his mom that this needs to stop. He didn't say much though, just that he loves me and he will get better, but he can't say anything to his mom. When I pushed for answers, he said that he can't do anything about it and left. His sister sent me a text later telling me that I can't make him choose between me and his mother. I'm so confused because I literally didn't even ask him to do that. Am I missing something here? And then we have a quick update from OP. My fiance came home the next morning, which was 2 days later, and started acting like everything was normal after leaving. He didn't even mention the fight that we had. Finally, that night, I sat him down and asked him why he was acting so normal. He responded that it was just a minor fight and we shouldn't dwell on it. This made me mad because it was a big deal for me, and that fight made me question our entire relationship. I told him this and he just scoffed at me. In that moment, I looked at him and asked, "Is that really not a big deal that your mother called me an R-word gold digger?" He just scoffed again and said something about her getting older and not knowing what that meant. I was done at that point. His mother is only 63 years old and acts the same way that she did when I met her years ago. I packed a bag, called my friend to pick me up, and I left. I've been staying at her place ever since, and now I'm not sure where my life is headed. OP, definitely not the butthole. Like you said, you didn't ask him to choose between his mother and you. You simply asked him to defend you to his family, calling you an R-word. That's completely unacceptable behavior. Your husband shouldn't allow anyone to talk that way to you, especially not his family. If he can't defend you to his family, I wouldn't expect him to defend you against anyone else. If I were you, I wouldn't marry him either. 10 out of 10, not the butthole. Our next Reddit post comes from Success Pride 821, titled, "Am I the butthole for not helping my brother and my ex with the kid that they had together and telling my parents to step up if help is deserved?" So I, a 25-year-old male, was dating Jade, a 24-year-old female, for about 4 years. We broke up several months ago when I found out that she had been sleeping with my brother Tommy, who's also 24, for months, maybe even for years. Hell, maybe they were secretly cheating since the start. I don't even know anymore. Jade and I lived together, and I thought that we were expecting a baby together. Then I walked in on them. I didn't actually catch them in the middle of the act or even in bed, but it looked very intimate and way too comfortable. They told me that I was imagining things and that I said I didn't believe them. Tommy said that he would never do anything like that to me. We were brothers, and we were there for each other no matter what, and a bunch of other BS like that. I ended up breaking up with Jade. She and Tommy still said that I was crazy and nothing was going on. But once Jade realized that I was serious and I wasn't supporting her through the pregnancy any further and that I wanted a DNA test, Tommy came crawling to me, begging for me not to put Jade or his kid at risk. He told me that I could be the dad and raise the baby and he would never be with Jade again, but that she wanted what I could offer for her and the baby and that he just wanted the best for his kid. Our parents were shocked by what happened, but also frustrated because Tommy was bouncing from job to job after college. He had no stability or stable income, and Jade wasn't in a much better position either. while I had gone to trade school and I was earning pretty good money and had a stable employment already. They berated Tommy and Jade like crazy, and I stepped away from the two of them. I said that I would only step back in and communicate with Jade if the baby was mine, and I said that I would pay for a DNA test. Even without me knowing, though, they tried to list me as the father on the birth certificate, but luckily I needed to be there, so that failed. My parents paid for Tommy to take a DNA test at the same time that I did, and the DNA test proved that he was the father, not me. Jade begged me to take her back, and she said that the baby was really ours no matter what the DNA said. I blocked her everywhere after that and did the same with Tommy. They still tracked me down in public, but I always ignored them. I told Tommy that we weren't family anymore and to remember that he was the one that broke our relationship, not me. The baby is about 4 months old now, and my parents are taking issue with the fact that I ignored that the baby exists, like how I now ignore that Tommy and Jade exist. They told me that I could have sent the baby a gift or something at least, that I'm still the uncle if I'm not the father. I told them that I wanted nothing to do with this mess and that it's up to Tommy and Jade to figure this out at this point. My parents argued that a good uncle was still important and the baby has done nothing to deserve being rejected. I said the baby is innocent, yes, but they're attached to the parents who are both pieces of garbage who deserve nothing from me. I told my parents that we're also talking about the same people who expected me to believe that I would raise this kid as my own and that they would stop cheating. The same people that also try to force my name on a birth certificate. Those people. I said that the baby might be doomed, but I don't feel responsible for saving them from that life. My parents said that Tommy and Jade need help for the sake of the baby, and the baby's well-being should be all that anyone cares about. I rolled my eyes, and my parents told me to take this seriously, and that there had been a 50% chance that the baby was mine. How could all of those feelings just vanish like that? They said that the baby deserves that, and even Tommy to a point, because no matter what, he's still my brother. I suggested that they should be the ones to step up if they feel that help is so deserved, but I'm not going to. They said that I was breaking their hearts and Tommy's heart, and one day I'd break the baby's heart too, and to think about the bigger picture. Am I the butthole here? The sheer audacity of these parents is just astounding to me. OP just experienced the biggest betrayal that he's probably ever going to experience ever from two of the most presumably important people in his entire life, in his brother and his soon-to-be wife. That has got to be one of the worst feelings ever. And then to go to that person that just experienced that and tell them that you should step up and take care of that affair baby is absolutely inexcusable to me. I would cut them off completely. Their morals are so far out of bounds. I would cut them off completely, and I would never talk to my parents again if that's what they were telling me to do and they were taking my brother's side on that. That is absolutely horrible. And you're right, OP. If they feel that this kid needs so much help and that Tommy needs so much help raising this baby, if they're so concerned, then they can do it. Why does it have to be you? If they're so concerned, they can do it, and they can help him since they think that Tommy is so innocent and is the victim in this situation. Our next Reddit post comes from Known Perception 7676, titled, "Am I the butthole for banning my husband from all doctor's appointments after he repeatedly messes with me while I'm pregnant?" So I'm currently pregnant and about 6 months along, and my husband has been doing this thing every time we go to a doctor's appointment. He'll drive to the appointment, then when I'm about to get in the car, he drives forward a little, then reverses, then drives forward again. He does this a few times, and it always frustrates me. He thinks it's hilarious and says that he's, quote, just messing with me. I started to get really frustrated as I'm already dealing with the physical and emotional toll of pregnancy, and this feels like him just poking fun at me when I'm already tired and stressed. I told him that it bothers me, but he just brushed it off and said that I'm overreacting and that he's, quote, just having fun. We had a big fight the other day. I tried to explain to him how it's making me feel, and he got defensive, saying that I need to lighten up and that it's, quote, just a joke. I told him that it wasn't funny anymore and it wasn't something that I wanted to deal with during my pregnancy. The final straw was when he did it again before a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I was just done. I ended up calling my mom to take me instead, and I told my husband that he was now banned from all future appointments. Well, now he's furious and he's demanding to be there for the next appointment because it's the one where we'll find out the baby's gender. He says that this is a huge moment and I'm being unfair by not letting him come. I told him that he needs to respect my boundaries, and this is one of the ways that I'm doing that. But he keeps insisting that it's just a silly little thing, and now he's calling me unreasonable for making a big deal out of it. Am I overreacting here? OP, I don't even think the real issue here is the whole joke car thing, like going forward and going backwards. I will say that is childish, and even not being pregnant is not something I would even consider, doing to my wife. But I think the bigger issue is you told him that you were upset about something and that it frustrated you, and he kept doing it. Like, just a total disregard for how you're feeling and, your frustrations, being pregnant and already stressed and probably a ton of physical pain. Like 6 months along, you're probably in a lot of pain and having trouble lugging that thing around as he's growing inside you. Like, that's not easy. And for him to keep doing that and disregard your feelings doesn't make it any easier. I think that's the real issue here. And I don't know, maybe missing out on that moment will maybe finally get through to his head that, he needs to respect how you're feeling. He said that he's just having fun, but when you're married and you're in a relationship, if you're doing something to your partner and you're both not having fun, then it shouldn't still be fun to you. Fun things should be fun for both of you, not just one of you. Our next Reddit post comes from Extension Judge 2906, titled, "Am I the butthole for leaking fake baby names to my family?" My husband and I are expecting our first child, and we did have some fun with annoying family members who wanted to name our child for us. The issue started a week after we announced, and some relatives on either side were suggesting names. Then, a few family members of ours, my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, my aunt and uncle, and my two sisters, decided that we would name a daughter Elizabeth or Cassandra, and we'd name a son William or Patrick. We told our families that we weren't taking name suggestions and to stop acting like they can name our child for us. We were told that the names mentioned were good, solid names and would prevent any weird, tragic names that people these days choose. My husband came up with the idea to have some fun with names and start leaking some names that we won't use. This meant commenting on random Facebook posts with a name and acting like we were going to use that, or photoshopping photos with baby items that had other names on them and stuff like that. We started to use some pretty out there names. One my husband even heard from TikTok, named Cuntley. Another was Dicky. Sprite was another. It annoyed the relatives that it was intended to. But then another relative spoke up and was like, why would they waste money on stuff with the name if they were going to change it a week later? And then the relatives finally realized. They were like, why would you do that? And we told them they were annoying us and we were having some fun since they were so insistent on the names. They said that this was childish. My husband pointed out that they were the ones who childishly believed that they could name our child for us. Other family members found it hilarious, but are we buttholes for doing this? OP, I think saying to someone that your generation can't name kids or is going to name your kid something tragic is kind of disrespectful. Like, what's so bad about what my generation is naming kids? Like, should I just go ahead and call my kid Barbara since, we're trying to go back to the golden era or something? Definitely not the butthole, OP. It sounds like a fun little way to poke some fun at them for trying to name your child. Our next Reddit post comes from Equal Abroad 931, titled, "Am I the butthole for refusing to give my brother the house that our grandparents left to me and telling him that maybe he should have visited them once in a while?" My grandparents unfortunately passed away a few years ago and left their house to me. It was not some random decision. I was basically their third child. I lived with them during college, helped them with everything in their later years, and we were incredibly close. My brother, on the other hand, barely visited. I think he saw them maybe twice in the last 5 years of their lives. They noticed this, and they were not happy about it. Now, my brother and his wife are struggling financially. They have 2 kids, rent a tiny apartment, and suddenly he is very interested in our grandparents' house. He sat me down and said that since I don't really have a need for the house, that I should just give it to him so his family can have a home. I told him no. He got mad and said that I was being selfish because I don't even have kids and that I wouldn't understand. Then he got our mom involved. She called me and gave me the whole, quote, family comes first speech and said that I should at least sell it to him for a family discount. I told them both no. If I ever sell it, it'll be for market price. My brother lost it and said that our grandparents would have wanted the house to go to the person who needs it most. That is when I snapped and told him maybe they would have left him something if he had bothered to visit them once in a while. Now he is furious, and my mom is saying that I was cruel, and the rest of the family is split. Half of them think that I'm right, and the other half think that I should just suck it up and help my brother. I feel like he's the one prioritizing his problems over my boundaries, but now everyone's making me second guess myself. Am I the butthole here? OP, 10 out of 10, not the butthole. Your grandparents didn't want the house to go to whoever needed it most. They wanted it to go to you, and that's why they left it to you, because they wanted to give it to you. And they don't even need a reason to want to give it to you if they don't want to have one. It's their house. They're free to do whatever they wanted with it, and they gave it to you. You have no obligation to help your brother, or anyone for that matter, if you don't want to. And to everyone saying that, you should give your house to them, ask them, would they give up their house for your brother if, they're so concerned with him and his family having a house? I'm guessing that they wouldn't. Don't let them try to guilt you into getting rid of the house, OP. You shouldn't second guess yourself. You helped them during their later years, and I'm sure they were eternally grateful for that. As far as I'm concerned, you deserve to have the house, OP. That was Reddit After Hours, bringing you r/Am I the Butthole. Thank you all so much for listening, and if you like these videos, like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below for any future Reddit subs that you'd like us to cover, as we post new Reddit videos almost every single day.